So in thee, I'm showing you my power. This is what makes us as self cosmic beings. This is what makes us as the self cosmically powerful. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? How you doing? How you doing? I hope y'all doing good. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Welcome to Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. If this is your first time tapping in, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please, after you have listened to the video, if something is said that empowers, enlightens, encourages you, please take a moment and subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. And we would love to have you join the tribe. You feel me what I'm saying? Yeah, straight like that. To all of my returning goddess sisters, what's good, honey? Do how you doing, boo? How you doing? I hope you're good. I hope you're good. Um, I'm feeling great today. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling great today. And I'm just feeling very lifted up, very encouraged, full of joy. You know, not everything in my life is perfect, but everything in my life is perfect. You understand what I'm saying? Perfection. Joy is a state of mind, it's a state of consciousness. You feel me? Whether you are living in a mansion or whether you still in the hood, baby, it's all good. It's all good. All right, so we're going to tap in really quickly. I'm going to ask the soul to speak fluidly and clearly through me. All right, let's see what wants to be said. Okay, so straight off the rip, I was sitting here and the other day I had received a download. Um, and it was very powerful. I had recorded it already, but I didn't like the audio quality. So I'm going to re-record it. So this is a re-record kind of on my end, you know what I'm saying? But the message is so powerful. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna let that one slide. I'm a re-record that. So this is what I'm doing. So let's get into something. Let's have a conversation. Okay. Um. So the message and the download that was given to me the other day is about the cosmic power that is within all of us as divine feminines, but not just the cosmic power, but understanding that your uh your existence in this dimension, in this lifetime right now, is you have been strategically placed for this very moment. Okay, you have been strategically brought into this lifetime in the time frame which you have, in the years which you have been here, for such a time as this. Now, what time is the mother talking about? You are coming into and have coming into the higher consciousness of yourself. For many of us, we're not awakening as much as we are reawakening. We've been awake before. Okay, let's get that understood. All right, we've been awake before. Many of us are rediscovering the things we used to know. We're rediscovering the vibration that we originally vibrated at. We're rediscovering the power that we actually have always held. You understand? So, not so much just an understanding that we are cosmically powerful, but understanding that because of the cosmic power we hold, we have been placed in this dimension at this particular time for a particular reason. Okay. Now, I as she started giving me, I was like, okay, this is good, because I'm a divine feminine that is always asking questions. I not just want to understand who I am spiritually, who I am as a woman, but I also want to really understand, why am I here? Why am I being projected into this dimension? For what purpose does my soul need to project me into this dimension? Okay. So when I first started my awakening, I was of course, like most of us, uh coming into the understanding of reincarnation. There is some trappings with that, but um that's not a part of the natural divine order of reincarnation. Reincarnation is not supposed to be used as a trap. Okay, it's not supposed to be used as an imprisonment of the soul. But because of the interference that has been ran on humanity, and the conscious evolution that humanity and the human is supposed to have the privilege to go through, and the privilege and the right to process through, reincarnation has become like a recycling. That's not supposed to be. All right. So as I continue to grow and continue to evolve, as I began to like get more in an intimate relationship and an intimate understanding of my soul's purpose for projecting me, then I realized that for me and for many of you listening to me, you are being reincarnated, but not because you're trapped, not just because you're being recycled. All right. Yes, that's happening. But as we are reawakening, we are also remembering the original reason for which the soul projected you into this dimension to begin with. And so when you start get down to the foundational soul purposes, then yeah, you still see the trappings, you still see the possibility that if I don't listen, if I don't surrender, if I don't learn, then yeah, I'll be a part of the recycling of the situation, right? But because I'm not one of those people who is not willing to listen and not willing to learn, and I'm now in an intimate relationship with my soul, then my soul can now divulge the real truth for me. Okay. And this is where your evolution is very personal. All right. It always is, but it really is, because now the instructions as how you move forward can only come from the soul. And everybody's instructions are not the same. Right. So for many of us, we have been placed here, and we share a mission as divine feminine women. We share a mission. Without going too deep into it, many of us are part of a particular divine family. Okay. And that particular divine order, divine family, has a specific mission within the multitude of dimensions, not just this one. But we're going to stay and have a conscious conversation about this one, because this is where we at, right? So when we remember the mission as divine feminine women, as we are collectively and individually remembering the soul's purpose for projecting us here, more of us are going to remember that our projection into the third dimension is timely placed. We're placed here. So we move out of the consciousness of understanding reincarnation as a recycling, and we move into understanding that we have been strategically placed into this dimension at this specific time for a specific purpose. Okay. So as she was, taking me through it and helping me understand again about sacred rage and how the fire that is coming from our wombs as we give birth to our soul's passion and purpose, that fire that is coming from us is going to be and is being utilized as a sign, all right, as like a billboard, as like a flag being waved, as like a um a method or a tool. The passion that's coming from you as divine feminines, first for your divinity and to be respected as divinely feminine woman. Okay, that's first, right? Because your physical body is the sign, and it is very important, all right, to the soul's purpose. Okay, so as you are filled with the passion of your divinity and you are filled with the power of your crown that you are wearing, right, you become a walking sign to bring the world and humanity as a whole, from the collective perspective as well as from the smaller tribe and or family perspective, as well as from a one-on-one perspective with the people that you meet every day. You become a sign to put the world in remembrance of the authority of the great mother, because without going into all of that, they clearly have forgotten or they done bumped their head. I don't know which one, but it doesn't matter. The job at hand is to allow the soul of you, which is divinely feminine, to utilize you to put the world at remembrance, to bring the world into correction, to bring this dimension into correction, to divine order, specifically the authority of the mother. All right. You don't have to do anything other than continue to evolve and listen to your divine feminine soul who gives you the instructions as to what's next, what should be said at any given moment, what should be brought to the light. Okay, that's all you have to do, right, is to be surrendered to her instructions, be surrendered to her nurturing of you, be surrendered to her guidance, her support and her comfort, her divine love, which is not without correction, which is not without nurturing. She is a mother in the very sense of the word, in the very vibration of what a mother is. Okay. So I was sitting as she was talking to me about the fire and the passion that's coming from the womb of the divine feminine woman, and how that fire is being brought forth, um is being brought forth and is bringing forth liberation. The earth and the people on it, the animals on it, the earth as a dimension is being liberated. The people are being liberated. Some of this you're going to be put in a position that you will have the opportunity to behold and observe the liberation that your presence and cosmic power brings to individuals, to your children, to your family, to your co-workers, to anybody that you involve yourself with for any amount of time. Because you can set somebody free in a conversation at the grocery store and you don't even know them, and you ain't even got to really have a conversation. You can walk by them and shoot them a smile, and just your light that glows from you changes the vibration of their day, changes the vibration of their mindset. We don't be knowing what's going on inside of people when we meet them. We don't know. We don't have to know. This is how cosmically powerful we are as divine feminines. Okay. We shift rooms without saying anything. Okay. So after she was talking to me about that, I was like, you know what? I used to do this all the time when I was a Christian, when I would want to study something in the Bible and I really didn't know what I wanted to study. I just pick it up and just let it fall where it opens and start there. And I used to get some really good downloads that way. Spirit was already always consistent at bringing me messages that way. So I was like, I'm gonna go old school. I don't call, I mean, it's still the Bible, right? But I call it the great book of archetypes. All right. Because to me, that's what it is. So I grabbed the great book of archetypes, i.e., the Bible. Um, and I did the little thing. I said, okay, Spirit, where you want, just wherever it falls. Of course, I had already received the download, so I'm like, it should be in sync. You know what I mean? And sure enough, Spirit came through like she always do. And so the Bible opened up to the book of Exodus, right? And so in this particular passage, this is when Moses is standing before Pharaoh and the plagues are being brought forth. But this particular one is about the plague of hail and fire. All right. But at the 16th verse of the ninth chapter, it says, this is exactly where my eye caught attention. And it was so spot on. But it says, the 16th verse, it says, and in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee. And Spirit began to speak to me and was like, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand, is that you have been placed at this very moment to do what it is you are doing as a divine feminine woman. This is not coincidence. This is not happenstance. This is not you just deciding to pick up a camera and a microphone and run your mouth. This is you doing the very thing that your soul was projecting and is projecting you into this dimension to do, whether it be on social media, whether it be in your everyday life with your family. You are an example. You are a guidepost. You are a lighthouse. You are sent and established for a particular time and for a particular moment, right? For this cause, the mother is saying, has she raised thee. When I saw the word raised, I immediately was like, that's kind of like the same concept of awakening and reawakening and the idea of raising your vibration. I have raised your vibrations for this cause. I have awakened or reawakened you for this cause. Okay. Before I could reawaken you, I had to first project you. And this is how you start alchemizing, because I don't know if many of you are like me, but sometimes I think about my life in stages. I think about my reawakening in stages. I have my Christian era, I have my just childhood, and then the Christianity, because we're spiritual, so we're having a spiritual conversation. So my Christianity era was, is a box, and then my reawakened, more just spiritual, out of religion me is a whole nother box. But this helped me understand that it's not compartmentalized that way. It's all a running thing. It's all very important. It was all a part of your reawakening. You've been reawakening since the moment you came from your mother's womb. Because now I'm sure many of you, we utilize all of it to better understand who we are cosmically, to better understand. We utilize everything to better understand who we actually are. And so the compartmentalizing of the phases and the stages of life, when it comes to the awakened or the reawakened conscious woman, that don't work no more. You understand what I'm saying? Because Moses, had been out of Egypt for a very long time. You understand? But his experiences while he was in Egypt. Now remember, he really wasn't supposed to be left in Egypt. He really wasn't. You understand? Because they were already having issues while he was a child. He was the one placed in the little basket, and he, was floating in the water and everything. And then one of the handmaidens of the king found him, or I think the queen or one of them found him, and he ended up being raised in Pharaoh's house. He really wasn't supposed to be there to begin with, but he was left there. And then he killed the man because, woo, woo, woo. And then he ran off into the wilderness. And so that is symbolically talking to me, or saying to me that he went to sleep. He was asleep, right? But there was something that his soul needed to accomplish in him. And so the soul, or the Lord, as it says it here in the scripture, the Lord raised him up, awakened him to his soul's purpose, which was to go back into Egypt to deal with the rulership and to redeem the people. Okay. So he raised him for this cause. Not so he could be over here like farming wheat and raising cattle. And, everybody has their place. But for this cause have I raised you, have I reawakened you. What cause? To show in you. Now see, this is the beautiful thing, because we are always first partakers of the Lord's power. Who is the Lord? Your soul. Okay. Your soul is the Lord. So don't go into the, uh misinterpretation that Christianity provides from the pulpit. Okay. The Lord is the soul. His soul is saying to him, for this cause, to show in you, in you, my power. We are reawakening, and through that reawakening, through the raising up that the soul is doing in us, it is showing in us the soul's power. That there is something in us that is not limited to the physicality of the natural world, that there is something of a higher frequency, a more powerful frequency that is within you. Okay. So in thee, I'm showing you my power. This is what makes us as self cosmic beings. This is what makes us as the self cosmically powerful. All right. So in us, the power of the divine feminine is being shown to us. You understand? And because we have been raised up to see her power, to see her position and her rank, to see her authority, all right? This whole download, this whole message is about power and authority. I'm going to show you how. It says, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. A name. And I learned this back in my Christian days from my studies. Again, from, not just taking what come across the pulpit, but actually being one who would go into, the word, like go into it. You understand what I'm saying? And listen to spirit. And so in my studies years ago, it was revealed to me that a name is not necessarily just a title of an individual, or is not just an address or the way we address each other, right? A name denotes authority. It is your name being utilized in the mouth of another person that projects the authority that will be utilized, because your name comes with a certain authority. When your children are running around and they playing, and then one of the younger children do something they ain't supposed to be doing because you have already said don't do it, and they know you by the name of mama, and when the other child says I'ma tell mama, okay, the reason why the child stops is because mama, that name, comes with a certain authority. If I take your credit card and it has your name on it, let's say Sheila Davis, and my name is not Sheila Davis, okay, and I go and buy, a brand new couch set or some shit, whatever, I go use your credit card and it say right on the credit card, Sheila Davis, child. And I go make purchases. The reason why it is fraudulent is not because my name ain't Sheila Davis. It's because my name ain't Sheila Davis, I don't have the authority to utilize that card. Your name is what gives you authority, which is why many of us, when we go through our spiritual transitions, spirit may come in and rename you. I have a name for the dark side of me, and I have a name for the light side of me, and I do not pass them out or mention them to anybody. I think I may have mentioned to one person when I was first given my light name, but outside of that, I have not mentioned it to anybody. It's a name that I use when I am operating in that authority. When I go into the dark side, it's a name I can use to operate in that authority. You understand what I'm saying? Your name is what gives you authority. So when he says, and that my name, my authority of what? The authority of the Lord, the authority of the soul, the authority of the divine feminine that is within you, that is projecting you and raising you up for this cause. We don't got to go deep to understand. We don't got to go too far to understand for what purpose in the 3D, outside of just for our own evolution, but for what purpose am I now being influential in the lives of other people. For what purpose should I put myself in the position to be influential when my soul is telling me to share or to say or to do something for somebody else's benefit? Why? Why? Because for this cause are you here, to show in you your soul's power. And outside of you, the authority of the mother is declared when you open your mouth, when you walk in that room, when you speak up on behalf of divine feminines, when you show up in your divine femininity, when you don't back down, when you don't compromise, when you raise your standards and establish your boundaries. The authority of the mother is being declared. This is why we're here in this moment, at this time, and with every lifetime and in every dimension, because this ain't the only one you're being projected into as yourself. I'm sure many of you know, but if you don't, you'll discover. Keep going, right? The purpose for the projection is for this purpose. Because this is not the only dimension where things are out of order as it relates to the authority and the power of divine femininity. This is not the only dimension, and I came to find that out during my break. And I was, man and the soul had to sit down and have a conversation, because I was like, "What is this you're showing me?" you know. But this ain't the only one. You understand? So your cosmic power that is within you is being utilized at this time in this day as a voice, as a sound that is declaring the authority of the great mother, our goddess sisters, and our divine feminine selves. That is a sound that is being declared throughout all the earth. That sound, if you understand the power of sound, the power of sound is, it has the ability to shift matter. So when we talk about as our vibrations raise, the planet is raising, it's absolutely accurate, because as we are being raised and awakened and reawakened to the cosmic power of our divine feminine, which is soul, which is Lord, then our presence becomes a sound. Our voice becomes a sound. Our cry becomes a sound, not just in this dimension, but a cosmic blowing of a trumpet. And that sound shifts the physical. It shifts people who are made of matter. It shifts earth that is made of matter. It shifts the trees and the birds, all made of matter. That's what we have been raised up. That's why we raise vibrations, because the soul is raising us up for this cause. This has been Sacred Empowerment of the Divine Feminine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, honey dudes. You know what I mean? I love you guys. I love you. Thank you for your support, your likes, your comments. your shares, everything. Continue to support the channel. Please leave a comment to this message. Tap in, let me know. Shoot me a purple heart, you know what I mean? Anything you feel like saying is greatly appreciated, and it pushes the messages and the videos through the algorithm to other divine feminine women and men, but mainly women is who we are building for and with, okay? It shoots the messages into the algorithm. So hit the like button, leave a comment, and make sure you turn on the notification bell. If you are a first time viewer, hopefully you will subscribe. That is greatly appreciated, and you are welcomed here. This is a safe place where we grow, learn, encourage, empower each other as divine feminines. All right, so turn on that notification bell so you know when I'm back with another one. I love you guys. I love everybody. And I will see you on the next message, okay? Peace, family.